All right, our speaker today is somebody who we always depend on for laying some pearls on us and kind of jangling our little world, so to speak, in a good way, of course, so that when things settle back down, we go, oh yeah, that's better. It is Timber Hawkeye.
Thank you. I like that song was about carrying on, because I just recorded a podcast episode last night, and I was thinking about this. In Buddhism, we take refuge in the Buddha, the teacher, the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, the fellow travelers on this path. And my gratitude fluctuates from the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Sometimes I'm like, oh yes, the teacher, I'm so grateful. Dharma Shmadma, I just thank you, Buddha, for leading the way, for showing us what's possible. And sometimes my gratitude goes to the teachings, and I'm really grateful for the Dharma. I'm like, Buddha, whatever, it doesn't, sometimes you can find wisdom written on a bathroom wall. It doesn't have to be the scripture. It doesn't have to be anything that ancient. Truth is truth. And most recently, I found myself extremely grateful for the Sangha in a really interesting turn of events. So I took the monastic vows back in 2008, and once the book was published a few years later, and traveled the world and sending out monthly emails and podcasts and public talks, and I've pretty much been committed to sharing love and positivity and loving kindness and the importance of compassion and patience. And it's been extremely rewarding. And especially at the time when it started, there seemed to be a really strong hunger from people everywhere, all over the world, to do away with their anger, their hostility, their road rage, and shift into a more patient, compassionate, loving, empathetic, grateful being they know they can be. And that's kind of been my song for many years. Recently, however, something has shifted with, I'm just going to say, the general public, who seems less concerned with being patient with one another, less concerned with being compassionate or loving, and more focused on being right and argumentative and combative. And it's not just online, it's at the grocery stores, it's on the streets. Everyone is just white knuckling. And perhaps rightfully so, I don't know. There's a lot to be upset about. There always has been. The shift just felt very much in my face, if that makes sense. Perhaps because people have always looked to me to say something kind and uplifting. And so I kept singing my song. And now, instead of being met with gratitude and saying, thank you so much for bringing us back to the path and keeping us on it, that's not what I heard back. I heard back, this is not the time for peace, Timber. Get out of here with your toxic optimism. And that was, that was rough to hear, because the only thing I know for certain is that I don't know anything for certain. So I wasn't so convinced that, maybe there's something to what they're saying. Is this really the time, to shift our focus? I mentioned in my monthly email that, now I don't know what to do. In my 20s, when I was in debt, I knew exactly what to do. I ate instant noodles almost exclusively until the debt was paid off. That was an easy shift. I was like, I'm going to take my health, put it on the back burner, and when the debt's paid off, I'm going to bring health back into focus. And so when I heard back from people this is not the time for peace, I thought, Is this one of those desperate times calls for desperate measures? Do we really need to put peace on the back burner? Like, that didn't resonate with me, but it's important to observe whatever thought comes up and say, is there any truth to that? And if there is, run with it. And if there isn't, dismiss it. And so I really had to sit with it. Like, do we need to put compassion and peacefulness and patience on the back burner because there's a more pressing issue and we need to be... So I didn't know. And so instead of doing my usual thing of singing my song of gratitude and kindness and patience, I said, I don't know. I don't know what to do in this climate. I have no clue. So I asked the Sangha, my fellow travelers on this path, what do we do? It was very clear immediately that what they were most grateful for was that I said, I don't know. Instead of being another voice in the arena telling people what they should and shouldn't do, they're like, this is really refreshing that you don't claim to know what to do all the time, because I don't know what to do all the time. And then we unpacked what's going on and the anger and the rage and whether it's justified or not. And what I heard was that we all have a very important role to play. And when something comes up, we need to decide, who am I in relation to what is happening? My commitment to my core values was actually reinforced, that this is the time for peacefulness, this is the time for patience and compassion. But that's going to look different for each of us. So I used the metaphor of like a hospital, and everyone's like, there's a lot going on, there's people bleeding, there's people dying, there's broken bones and all this stuff, and we all need to rush to the emergency room, and we all need to and I was like, I don't function well at that pace. And I know that we are all caregivers, and we are all here on this planet to take care of one another, but we're not all cut out to be in the emergency room. It's just as important for some people to be in the front lines in the intensive care unit and dealing with that. But it is equally important to sit peacefully with someone in hospice care as they take their last breath. It's a very different pace, and some people are not cut out for that, but they're more cut out for the ICU. And some people can't handle the ICU, but they can sit with people all day. So it's just as important to be at home and meditate on peaceful gratitude and kindness and send positive vibes into the universe as it is to stand in front of City Hall with our signs and white knuckles and do all of that until or unless that no longer resonates, or you need a break, and then take a break. Does that make sense? That just do what feels right in your soul until it doesn't feel right or you need a break, and then take a break. And more importantly, trust and let others do what is right in their soul. Don't judge people who are sitting at home meditating, for example. Why aren't you in the front lines? Or people in the front lines, don't judge them for what are you doing on the streets? We're all doing what we think is right, and none of us know how to get out. But my resolve to continue taking the boat, a little rowboat, from one side to the other shore, even though that mode of transportation is not urgent enough for some people, it's not for everyone. The path of peacefulness does not resonate with everyone, or not all the time. But that's my pace. So I am less concerned with all the people withdrawing their support and leaving and telling me that I'm leading people into the darkness and, well, how dare you suggest being calm in this state. I'm less concerned with the quantity of people in my boat and more concerned with the safety of those who are on board as we go through this treacherous waves and strong currents. My resolve to continue being peaceful has been reignited not by the Buddha, not by the Dharma, but by the Sangha. By the very people I was afraid would attack me. And some did. And I understood why. I didn't hate them for it. But I understood that it's all coming from a strong place of passion. And again, I was recording all this last night and so grateful to come here today. Because my first few years of just following the Buddha was very solitary. And then moving into the monastery, yes, it was definitely a strong sense of unity, but we were all wearing the same robes, had the same haircuts, chanting the same chants. And they told us the goal is not to make the monastery our home. This is not where the rubber meets the road. Take the teachings out into Main Street, USA. That is where you are challenged to remain calm and peaceful, and that is where compassion is most important. And I can't think of a better place to go to on Sunday, because Monday through Friday, Saturday could be a whirlwind. And then we come here, and I love that we start with just sitting quietly, just settling into the space. And that last song listed all the things, the frogs croaking and the sun setting and the tides rolling. And I'm like, yes, and still we carry on. But also, people are being shot, people are being killed, people are being deported, people are being hated, and still we carry on. Can we add some verses to that song? Because it's all part of this beautiful mess we call life. And I am grateful for the Buddha, for the Dharma, and for you, my Sangha, my family, who are thankfully not my relatives, because I do relate more to you, and to you, Brian, and to the message of unity than to anything else, anywhere else. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.